Hello, Oilers fans. Austin here with a news update regarding your Edmonton Oilers. They have signed Curtis Lazar to a one-year, $775,000 contract. Now, Curtis Lazar, he has kind of carved himself a neat little path in the NHL as a fourth line, kind of a grinder, penalty killer, doesn't produce a lot of offense. Although I remember Curtis Lazar much more fondly, not only with his time with the Edmonton Oil Kings, but when he was with the Ottawa Senators during Andrew Hammond's the Hamburglar, that crazy goaltender run from their third string goaltender. The Ottawa Senators were like 14 or 15 points out of a playoff spot in February. Andrew Hammond comes in, goes on this incredible run. He goes like 19-1 or something in the 20 games that he played leading up to the playoffs. But Curtis Lazar, during that run, fans were throwing burgers onto the ice after a game, and Curtis Lazar, loved to see that. He's eaten one of the burgers that was thrown on the ice, which is absolutely disgusting, but what an absolute legend for that. Has nothing to do with his play or career, by the way. It's just something that I wanted to talk about because I remember this distinctly because as a Bruins fan as well, but Boston's my second favorite team, it was Boston that ended up missing out on the playoffs in 2015 to that Ottawa Senators team. So I was very invested in those Ottawa Senators games while watching the Bruins try and make it to the playoffs. And then, of course, 2015, the Oilers also won the McDavid sweepstakes. So that was quite the eventful year, at least for me as a fan. But Curtis Lazar, he played last year with the New Jersey Devils. He is more of a fourth-line center. He'll likely fight with Noah Philp for that fourth-line center position. He can play a little bit of wing. If you take a look at his stats, there's nothing that really, comes off the board as impressive. Although last season, or 2023-24, he had 25 points with the Devils. Last season, he only played 48 games. He spent a decent amount of time in the AHL over the past several years. He was with the Boston Bruins for a couple of seasons. I do remember that. This is a player that has a bit of bite in his game. He'll throw the body. He had 107 hits last year, 179 hits the year before. So this is someone in your bottom six that is going to lay the body, even though he's not like a huge body. What is he listed at? 6 feet, 203 pounds. So, he's not like a big bruiser or anything. He's not going to put up a lot of points. But what you're going to get from a Curtis Lazar is a incredibly hard worker, someone that is going to help the penalty kill a lot, and the penalty kill needs all the help it can get. And for Curtis Lazar, I think that's a good deal. It's a good bet. 1 year, $775,000. And it makes me question the Kasperi Kapanen value a little bit more now because it's not like Kapanen produces a lot either, and Kapanen is used in kind of that same bottom six, can throw the body, penalty kill type role. Why does a guy like Curtis Lazar make almost $1 million less than Kasperi Kapanen? Maybe it's a vibes thing. I don't know. Nothing against Kasperi Kapanen, by the way. Obviously, Kapanen's offensive upside is higher. Kapanen is a faster skater. He can create breakaways for himself, and he Kapanen brings another element, so I'm not going to complain too much. We are complaining about like $800,000 difference for third and fourth liners. So I'm not going to get too worked up, but it is an interesting thing to look at because in a cap world in the NHL, every single dollar matters, especially with an Oilers team that is right up against the salary cap now. I think they only have about $100,000 left of space after the Curtis Lazar signing. But Curtis Lazar, I think that's a really good pickup for Edmonton. Again, he's not one of those flashy players. He's going to bang bodies. He's going to play on the penalty kill. Last year, he won 51% of his faceoffs that he took, and the Oilers desperately need a little bit more of that. And maybe with him in the picture for the bottom six, maybe there's an off chance that they can try and move on from an Adam Henrique, depending how the season goes. Just no offense to Adam Henrique. I love the guy. I love that, he's someone that cares about his family deeply. When he was traded to Edmonton the year before this past season, he was very emotional about having to leave his wife and his recent newborn. And then he signed 3 years at Edmonton. He wanted to settle down. And, it's just one of those situations where I know he has a no move clause, but if we're finding value like this, guys that kind of do the same thing and also don't produce a lot of offense, I'd like to find cap savings somewhere. But we'll have to see. Well, we have to see how it all shakes out. I'm very much looking forward to the season here. And if we take a look at the depth chart, I am going to add Lazar in here. I think I'll add him over, where am I going to put? Where am I going to put Lazar? There's so many places I could put him. I guess I'll just put him on the outside looking in with Jones, Hamblin, Philp. He'll kind of be in that conversation, and the Oilers' current cap space is now about and 25K-ish, something like that. I'd have to go on Cap Wages or Puckpedia to get the official number, but that's kind of roughly where the Oilers are sitting. And so, yeah, we take a look at the depth chart for Edmonton. This is still a playoff team, especially after the Andrew Mangiapane signing last night, which I think is a great signing, and I think Andrew Mangiapane is someone that is going to slot into that top six. Stan Bowman today at his press conference that he did over Zoom with the media, he mentioned that Mangiapane is going to get an opportunity next to Draisaitl and McDavid just to kind of see where he fits. He is someone that can play with skilled players. Last season, he played most of his time with Lars Eller and Nick Dowd on kind of that third, fourth line in Washington. So it's kind of hard when you're in a shutdown role to produce a lot of offense, but he still had 14 goals and he still won his minutes at 5-on-5, and he has good underlying metrics. So Andrew Mangiapane, I think it's a really good bet. Play him next to some skill guys and see if, he can find some of that offensive magic that he had with the Calgary Flames. Curtis Lazar, he'll be fighting for a fourth line role with the team. It's going to be a competitive forward group. You have Matthew Savoy, who is right on the cusp of being a regular NHLer. You could even see Savoy in the top six with Draisaitl potentially this season. Trent Frederick, the same thing. Tomasek, same thing. Like, we don't really know. There's a lot of question marks here with this forward group. So let me know your thoughts on the Lazar signing. But we aren't done yet today. I do want to also mention the other signings from yesterday that I did not touch on. They were those AHL signings. They signed Matt Tomkins to a 2-year deal. I'll kind of pull up his page here on Oilers.nhl.com. So Matt Tomkins, he has 6 NHL games of experience. I don't think I've ever seen him play before. 2-year, two-way contract with an average annual value of $775,000. In the AHL last season, he was 12-10-5 with a 2.55 goals against and a 907 save percentage with 3 shutouts. So Matt Tomkins, he's tall, he's got good movement, and it's goaltender depth. The Oilers lost Olivier Rodrigue to the free agent market. They did not qualify Olivier Rodrigue, so you need someone else that could potentially plug a hole when it comes to your goaltending depth. Matt Tomkins fits that bill for the Oilers. I don't imagine he's going to be fighting to be on the team as a full-timer, but you can never have too much goaltender depth, especially on this team. And then the Oilers also signed defenseman Riley Stillman to a 2-year, two-way contract as well. Likely play a lot of time in the AHL, but it is more defensive depth. He's 6'2", 207 pounds, played 35 games for the Chicago Wolves. He had 3 goals and 6 assists, and then he also played 5 games for the Carolina Hurricanes as the Hurricanes dealt with so many injuries last season throughout their lineup. So, again, it's just defensive depth, but this is not a pretty signing. This is not a signing where you're going to look at Riley Stillman coming up from the minors to make a difference. This is a guy that's going to come up if you have a couple players go down with injury or illness, or if you're just looking to fill a body every now and then. Kind of how Josh Brown was up every now and then with the Oilers last season. Josh Brown came up, he'd play a few games, and then they'd send him back down. Don't be surprised if Riley Stillman is kind of in that same boat. Riley Stillman, again, he's a player that I haven't really watched. I don't really know anything about him, so it's not like I can personally give my own scouting report. That's why I have the Oilers website up, and I'm just reading what they have posted about these two players, Matt Tomkins and Riley Stillman. But I have seen Curtis Lazar play a lot. I'm excited to see where he fits in the Oilers lineup. I think the value is really good for Edmonton. Once again, Stan Bowman continuing to take that patient approach. And speaking of Stan Bowman, we're going to quickly touch on what he talked about in his availability today. He was asked about the goaltending market, kind of gave a wishy-washy, like, there's some goaltenders that moved, but, it's one of those markets where, you got to keep finding, opportunities. Is there something that you can do now? Can you wait till later? So don't expect the Oilers to do anything significant with the goaltending as of today. It is July 2nd. There's a lot of time during the summer for maybe something to open up. There is still rumors of Isaac Howard, Hobey Baker winner Isaac Howard being available to the Edmonton Oilers. It sounds like the Oilers offered a first rounder for him to Tampa, and it sounds like they thought they had a deal done, but Tampa has decided to not accept that offer. And if they wait for Isaac Howard's rights to expire next year, the best that Tampa will get is a second rounder if another team signs him as compensation. And obviously, if you're Tampa, I don't know why you don't just take the first rounder. You have a team that wants him. You have Isaac Howard, who apparently wants to go to Edmonton as well. Again, that's another forward that it would be young, skilled, where does he slot in the forward group? It's just more competition to see who fits where and what kind of internal competition the Edmonton Oilers are going to have heading into next season. And Stan Bowman also mentioned that when it comes to his defensive core, he likes the defense. He's probably not going to tweak the defense too much, which I think makes sense as well. On paper, the Oilers have a great defensive group. As long as Matthias Ekholm comes into camp healthy, they have a lot of depth, especially with the left-handed shots. I'd like to see maybe another right shot D-man just for some extra depth get signed. But again, I'm not too worried about it. The Oilers have 7, I would say, very capable, competent defensemen that if they're playing the system and they're working well together and they understand what the expectation is right at the start of training camp, no issues with that, in my opinion. And then the forward group, Stan Bowman did say that that's something that he's still going to be looking to tweak. So who knows what he has up his sleeve, but the summer of Stan Bowman, it is, it's a bit quieter than what we're kind of used to in oil country. A lot of times previous GMs, they go out and they sign big free agents or they give tons of term to players. We haven't seen that with Stan Bowman as of yet. And he's taking the patient approach. He's letting the market settle down a little bit. Saw some crazy deals in term handed out to some players yesterday. I think the 2 most egregious ones were Tanner Jeannot to Boston and Cody Ceci to the Los Angeles Kings. So we'll see how it all shakes out. I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of Curtis Lazar. Let me know what you think of Matt Tomkins. Oh my God, sorry. And then let me know your thoughts on Riley Stillman and, of course, Andrew Mangiapane. I did a video on Mangiapane last night. I will leave a link to it in the description below if you have not yet seen it. Thank you so much, Oil Country. Tell someone that you love them. And as always, fight like a kid, fight like Ben. Let's go Oilers. If there's any more breaking news, make sure you come back here for all of the Oilers content that you want. So thank you all so much. Take care. We'll see you soon.